Hello, I'm Laura. It's Friday, May 22nd, 2026, and these are today's Heartlines. Our theme for Heartlines this week is What's Next? Because it is graduation season, and that is a natural question to ask. It is also a natural question to ask in many situations. What's next for my life? What's next for my world as I look at the headlines of the day? Now, for many of us, what's next for our lives is a long holiday weekend here in the United States. And in fact, 45 million people will be traveling for this weekend. But it is also important in asking what's next to remember what this weekend is about. It is about honoring those who gave their lives to the service of this country, and more specifically, to the ideals of freedom and justice and equality for all. And in looking at that, we might also look at our headlines and ask, what's next? Where is the justice? When will we see it unfold in some of the areas we are seeing in our headlines that we may question whether or not it is present at all? And if we are doing this, we are making a judgment in what we see. But we can remember the words of Martin Luther King Jr. that said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." And we are part of that bending. In fact, as I looked up the word justice in the Revealing Word, my old Revealing Word from my spiritual path of unity, it says, when judgment is divorced from love and works from the head alone, there goes forth the human cry for justice. In his mere human judgment, man is hard and heartless. He deals out punishment without consideration of motive or cause, and justice goes awry. When justice and love meet at the heart center, there are balance, poise, and righteousness. So if balance, poise, and righteousness are what we are seeking for ourselves, for our lives, and for our world, we can be in touch with those things right now by going to the love that is in our hearts. And as we see what is happening in our world, to judge it from that place of love. And let's start to do so right now in a moment of quiet contemplation. Let's take a deep breath and close our eyes and hold this idea in our hearts. I am aligned with the law of love and justice, and I call into action all that is within me to see it made manifest in my world. I am aligned with the law of love and justice, and I call into action all that is within me to see it made manifest in my world. And so it is. My husband and I recently came back from a trip to Germany, as many of you know. A place of freedom and enlightenment, and people who are open in sharing who they are with us and with each other in many ways. We were in the eastern side of Berlin, which has quite a history in so many ways. Yet rather than be afraid or hiding from that history, the people require their children to learn about it so it does not repeat. And it is wisdom that guides us in looking at our world in the light, not to hide certain parts of it in the shadows, but to be aware of what is going on. Yesterday, what happened, and today, what is happening, to keep the darker side of history from happening again. So let's call on the justice in our own hearts, but let's anchor it in love, love for each other, and the longing to see equality and justice for all. Thank you for joining me this day. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.